and this one is just going to be video 6, and I just want to touch base on the last video so we can just get, it's most important thing that you want to do is just get the basics down, right? And when we go back over these entries, it's real simple. The first entry is always on a green moon, right? Now, when you do your entry on your green moon, so let's just kind of go over the basics. So the first entry on the trade, it has a trigger, which is a 1 hour green moon, right? And with that, that's the trade that we would be looking for. And the basis is simple. As long as the 1 hour RSI is in your direction, and then the 15-minute has a green moon and trend, and that right there is the basis of your trade there. And the only thing that, just to make your entry when you go to enter is if all that's happening, you just want a 3-minute green moon and trend. And that's pretty much it, right? Now, with the 1 hour RSI, right? So this is kind of like the basis, maybe saying it this way. We don't trade against the 1 hour RSI or the 1 hour trend. All right, but the RSI is your first trigger to say, okay, I'm not going against the 1 hour RSI because the rest of this happens with it. So we don't trade against the 1 hour RSI. And if we're doing a long, right, need 15-minute moon and trend in our favor, right? So anytime you look at something, as you do your entries, right, you'll get better at your entries as you dig into it a little bit more, watch a little more videos. These are the basic entries. So triggers a 1 hour green moon, 1 hour RSI in your direction, right? And then obviously the second entries always come down to where you're dealing with the 1 hour trend or the 15-minute pullback. The 15-minute pullback, right, your second entry, right? So once again, the second entry, same thing, right? You need if it's going to be the 15-minute RSI bottom or the 1 hour trend, at the end of the day, you still need the 15-minute moon and trend to be your color. And that's pretty much the basis of it, right? And the RSI on the 15-minute, whether it's at the top or coming down or whatever, a lot of times it's going to depend on the coin, right? And it's going to depend on the volume and the pressure. So if it's an earlier move, right, like we see here, if it's an earlier move, where we kind of see here that there's two moves here, right? There's an early move here to this push up here. And that early move, right, doesn't have a lot of volume behind it. So it can pull back and spike down and take you out. And then there's the second move, right? This one was actually when the volume, right? The volume on the 15-minute, right? That's the key. Our entry point is the volume in positive direction, right? So when we're looking at all this and you put your little checklist together, you want simple things, right? I think the biggest thing to write down was be checklist number 1 is I need positive volume on the 15-minute, right? So to me, if you want to look at it in a way and say, okay, here's my trades that I want to do, right? You want positive volume on the 15-minute, right? Let me move this over here. All right, positive volume on the 15-minute. That's the entire goal for a long, right? Now, the positive volume that comes after you have certain things. Somehow you get a 1 hour trade, right? 1 hour trade is the 1 hour moon, correct? And with that, you need these things to happen. You need the volume to be going positive on your 15 minute. You need the 15-minute moon and trend, your color. And that right there is the basis of if this is a long position. Positive volume on the 15-minute trend and moon, your color, right? And at that point, when you decide to enter, you just got to make sure the 3-minute moon and trend are your color as well. And that's just a safety precaution that you're not buying into a pullback when the 3-minute has a red trend. You want that to be going your color. Same thing with the 15-minute. You don't want to buy a trend that's not your color. You want to buy with the 15 and the 3-minute trend. And that's pretty much what you need to kind of focus on. 1 hour trade starts with a 1 hour moon. Positive volume on the 15-minute is what we're looking to get into. That shows higher support for us and higher percentage of winning. And we just want the 15-minute moon and trend on our color with the 3-minute moon and trend in our color. That's pretty much it. So we're going to walk through some of these trades and go through that section. And it's pretty easy to see as we walk through here. Here's a 1 hour moon. We don't have positive volume until here's the 1 hour moon set up right here. We already marked it. Positive value happens here, which allows us to get into our first entry, which also was a 15-minute moon, which we see here, and the 15-minute green trend, which is here. That causes our first entry. That's a big winning trade. Then there's a pullback. Then we end up getting a 1 hour trend here, which we would have waited because the 1 hour trend would have been our second entry. In this case, since we made all our money on the first move, this would be another first entry. But we don't catch it on a 15-minute red trend. We catch it when it goes into the 15-minute green trend here at the bottom of this, and that actually gave us another winning trade. And that 15-minute trend replayed itself again. We got a red moon on the 15 minutes, so we don't make a trade on the long. Red trend, and then boom, 15-minute green moon, 15-minute green trend, which gave us another 2% move, which basically gave us another 100% win. And that goes on until we get right here, which is this, remember, is the RSI on the 1 hour going down, and that's the end of the longs. It's pretty much that simple. The moment that we have the 1 hour RSI, and that's what happens here, the 1 hour RSI starts to go down. That is the end of longs, period. That's the end of the longs. Then you end up catching a 15-minute moon, which goes into a 15-minute trend, and that would be considered a section where you could take advantage of a pullback or a short position that's happening at that time, which then goes into basically a bounce, just like any other trade. And when it does its bounce at that point, the next trade would be, your other entries come into here. Now, what we need in this section here, if we're going shorts, right, let's take a look. We would need the 1 hour trend or RSI, the 1 hour moon, right? And we can see here that we got both of those right here. So we have our 1 hour RSI breaking down. The 1 hour moon triggers a short position here. So this is a 1 hour red moon. All right, that would be our first entry position here because I showed you where the 15-minute came into play. And we would have made our 100% on here. So let me get this out of the way here. Okay, so here's your 1 hour red moon. Here's your RSI. Here's your 1 hour moon. Now, all we really need to make that happen when the 1 hour moon pops in is what? 15-minute moon, 15-minute red trend right here. That would have created this first move, which was over 2%. So we would have made 100% on this move. There was a bounce at that time, which the RSI comes all the way to the top. That is a section where you would be looking for a second entry. Now, I want to show you real quick why this second entry right here isn't a go right here. Because you can see that 15-minute RSI get to the top. And this would be where most guys would look at the RSI and think about a second entry, all right? But what's the problem? Well, if you're paying attention, you can't trade against the 15-minute moon. All right, so you can see right here clearly, if you're going to short, this isn't the time to do it, because right at this moment here, you can tell that there is a 15-minute green moon, which means shorts are no longer available on these bounces until that goes red. Once that goes red, somewhere down here, then you could be looking for that next move on that short. It's really that simple. This basically 1 hour red RSI changes here. 1 hour red moon hits here. 15-minute moon and trend hit here. That's your entry right there. We make our trade. We made 100%, so we don't need no second entry here. We get a 15-minute green moon. That ends all shorts until the 15-minute red moon comes back to play. Or the 1 hour ends up reversing, meaning that it hits the bottom like it did here. And we can see here that once that RSI starts to head up, that's pretty much the end of the shorts in this position. But we don't have a long position at this time because why? We don't have a green moon. So we don't have a 1 hour green moon, and we don't have any positive volume on the 15-minute, as we can see. So at this time, there are no trades for XRP on long or short because we don't have the 15 minutes either way. So that is pretty much the basis of it, man. So it's 1 hour moon, then a 15-minute moon and trend that goes with it, then the move, the pullback, and then additional entries based on the 15-minute moons and trends as long as they stay that way. But once they switch up or change on there, then we just cancel out everything else, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you get through those videos, guys. Very simple, and as we keep going over the same 4 steps, it'll become a lot cleaner for you guys. Other than that, good luck out